Well, good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to the soon-to-be Year 7 evening, where we're just going to go through a few things with you. Actually, we try to keep it to a minimum, but there is a lot of ground to cover. And really what we want to do is to reassure you about the experience your children are going to have in the new academic year, so from September, and to begin to build up a relationship with you, which will see us through the next 5 or 7 years. So, brief PowerPoint, want to go through it. Ms. Douglas, if you could move the slide on for me, please. So, you can see who's going to be talking to you today. I am Martin Lavelle. I'm proud to be the head teacher of the Southgate School. It's a wonderful school. This is my 7th year that I've been head teacher. Very fortunate, very privileged. Also talking tonight is Miss Douglas, assistant head teacher, and she is in charge of transition. She oversees Year 7, and she does a lot of work, has done a lot of work over the years with local primary schools. So many of you, or certainly your children may already know her. And then we have Ms. Gabrielle, who's also assistant head teacher, and she's also our SEND coach. So those of you whose children may require additional needs support, Ms. Gabrielle will be working with you closely anyway, and her team. And she's a key part of the transition process, just because she does provide a lot of reassurance to those of you who might be particularly concerned about how your child will get on. Ms. Gabrielle also oversees staff and student well-being in the school. So those are we are the 3 colleagues going to talk to you tonight. And you can see the aim of this meeting, to share our expectations. Look, our expectations, I'm not going to go in masses of detail about them. I will talk them briefly on the next slide. But you know us by our reputation. I presume most of you chose us because you think we're a pretty good school and you think your child will be safe here. So we have standards, we have expectations. I spoke about those at open evening, and those of you who heard that talk may well remember me saying that people choose us because we have high standards regarding behaviour, regarding uniform, but actually that we're a happy school, very, very important to us that students look forward to coming to school, and we are an academically successful school, and that is obviously fundamental. So we want to make sure that your child and you feel confident, maybe even excited about coming to Southgate. Lots of reasons why they should be excited. Also tonight would be an opportunity for you to pose any questions that you may have about the coming months. And Ms. Gabrielle and Ms. Douglas will do what they can to answer those, and we'll pick them up going forward. So look, this is what I wanted to say. 2 things really. That quote from Marcus Rashford, it is telling, isn't it, when we rely on footballers to give us moral guidance. But I think he encapsulates very, very nicely what we as a school want to do, because the next 5 to 7 years, and I keep saying 5 to 7 because that'll take you to Year 11, and hopefully for the vast majority of you, it'll be to Year 13, to the end of the 6th form. What we want to do is help you achieve your ambition and fulfill your potential. So you may be thinking, oh my goodness, how's it going to work at secondary school? It's so big, it's hard, they have big exams, but actually just rest assured, because this is what we do. I've been in education for over 30 years. Ms. Gabrielle, Ms. Douglas have also been in schools for a long time. It's our core purpose. We are used to working with young people and helping you get through all the obstacles and all the challenges in your way so that you can be what you want to be and that you can achieve the things you want to achieve. I think fundamentally key to that is the relationship we build up with, obviously with the students, but with you parents. And we're going to be doing a bit of work about that, making sure that, that you know what we're about and we understand your hopes and concerns so we can always be working together for the best interests of your child. And the thing I should just flag up now is that we will probably, we as a school, you as parents, be on the same page for 90% of the time. Where we may not is because you are seeing your child from the perspective of having raised them in the home life. We are seeing your child from what we know of them in school and what we know is coming up in terms of their academic outcomes. So there might be a slight difference in emphasis at time to time, but I think the happiness which people routinely comment on when they come to our school, the fact that students enjoy being here shows that we get that right, that relationship, that fundamental relationship. And the reason there is a picture of a butterfly on this slide is because this is a guide which parents are certainly encouraged to dip into. It's on our school website, and it's in recognition of the national challenge around young people's mental health, social, emotional, mental health. And really, this is part of our response to it. We know that the pandemic really has put a lot of young people under incredible pressure. It's put a lot of adults under pressure they've never been in before. It's put families and relationships under strain. So we know that we are dealing with young people who've had a lot to contend with, and young people who haven't necessarily had much schooling over the last 2 years as well, actually not in school, the socialization which comes with being in school. So we have a huge capacity, and we have a really good team of colleagues who are so experienced in working to address young people's social, emotional, mental health, and we do it very, very well indeed. So I want to say two things to you there. This is all about the next 7 years or so of your child coming to school, doing well, being happy, making friends, getting the outcomes they want. And we know that will happen because the relationships we build up over time, because of the support we give to young people with their mental health, with their well-being, and because we know what works. So that's pretty much it for me. But I just want to say I really look forward to working with you parents in the time ahead, and all those children looking forward to joining us. I look forward to welcoming you in person very, very soon. So thank you for listening to me. I'll hand over now. I think it's Miss Gabrielle.
Thank you, Mr. Lavelle. Thank you very much indeed. Welcome to all you Year 6, nearly Year 7 parents. Myself and Miss Douglas are really excited to be working with you before September and from September onwards. I just wanted to show you this slide. These are students who obviously came through Year 7, and you can see that they're now in Year 8 and Year 9, and our lovely boys in Year 13, who I have to say, I remember when they joined us in Year 7. And these are really lovely comments which show you how our students feel about our school. Just give you a moment to read them. It's really wonderful that Barris and Zlati are now in Year 13. They were cheeky chappies in Year 7, and it's wonderful that they came with us all the way through. And as Mr. Lavelle was commenting, they've stayed with us for the full 7 years. Absolutely delightful young men as they are now, but when they joined us, they were little boys. So some really lovely things that our students have said about us. We do have clear aspiration for our students to join us in the 6th form. We're very happy when our Year 11 students go on to Year 12 and Year 13. And having these different year groups here just gives you a sense of how our students who have only just joined us, but also students who've been with us for some time, about how they feel about our school. Okay, so now I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how Southgate School ensures excellence for all. It's really important that all our students feel that they have been included into the Southgate School family, and that's really how we see it. The school is fully staffed by specialist teachers, and students move from one really good lesson to another. We're delighted that recruitment is always successful at Southgate because we're a really good school and staff want to come and work for us. As Mr. Lavelle was talking about the importance of mental health and well-being, which is an area that I personally lead on, our PSHE programme focuses on the whole child. We're looking at every aspect of your child, their academic success, their creative, artistic success, but also their well-being and how they're feeling as young people going through the school. We do have very high expectations regarding behaviour and uniform and achievement and progress. There is a real partnership between school and home. It's so important that you see that you are joining the school as well as your child. And the three of us, you, your children, and us as the school, form a really tight partnership in order to achieve the very best for your child who is joining us. There are clear behaviour systems in place, but we like to focus on rewards as well. We have a wonderful e-praise system, which I'm going to talk to you a little bit about later. The sanctions are there. We like to focus on the rewards, but in class, each student will have 2 clear warnings if their behaviour is not meeting the expectations and the standards that we are looking for. And after 2 clear warnings, they would then get a detention. I'm absolutely sure that your children are not going to be getting detentions in year 7. Our students in year 7 are absolutely delightful, but they are made aware of a very clear system that we run. So there's a consistent approach across the school, and no child is unaware of what we expect and what will happen if they don't meet those expectations. Our anti-bullying policy has been rewritten in a child-friendly way so that all children are able to access it and know what they should do if something isn't working quite right for them. Talking about our reward system, we have a house system which encourages students to feel part of Southgate School. We have 4 different houses, and it encourages a sense of community and cooperation, as well as healthy competition and also school leadership. The student leadership team builds on those leadership skills, and there is a real emphasis in the school on student voice and our students having a say in what we do and what happens, and having a say in rewards as well. I'm going to talk to you about our enrichment activities in a minute. Our enrichment activities are so fantastic, they need a whole slide for themselves. And these are the extracurricular clubs and activities that we really want your children to get involved in. This is part of the school day. It's certainly an opportunity for your children to make friends, to be involved in extra events, to broaden their knowledge and their interests. We talked a little bit about the SEND department. Mr. Lavelle mentioned that I'm the school Senko and very involved in transition. I'm part of the core transition team along with Miss Douglas. And part of that is making sure that if any of your children have any additional needs, we know about all of those needs prior to your child coming into our school. And I will meet with you or share emails with you and make sure that we're set up ready to support your children from the first day in September. Part of that support is our Be Well zones. So all our students, even the new ones, the little ones coming to us, will know that they have a safe place where they can go if they're feeling a bit wobbly or a bit uncomfortable. And these Be Well zones are very clearly labelled, and we tell all our children when they join us where they can go if things aren't quite going right. This is also the opportunity to talk about our Student Support Centre, which is one of our Be Well zones. And this is where students can get some mentoring support. They might be involved in group work, but it's again a safe place where students can go if they're feeling that the day is a little overwhelming. We've also introduced this year a Year 7 club, which runs on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, where children can come and play games and mix with their friends, just away from the louder hubbub of the main school. There is a huge amount of evidence that shows that happy and settled students are going to be more successful and they're going to achieve their full potential. So I was mentioning to you the enrichment opportunities. And as you can see, there are a whole host of enrichment opportunities which run each day after school. I'll just give you a moment to have a look at that. All our students are encouraged to stay after school and enjoy the activities are on offer. And this also will help them widen their friendship group. All of these activities are completely free of charge, and they run immediately after the end of the school day. One of the reasons why we chose to have a slightly earlier finish to the school day is so that your children can be involved in extracurricular activities and after school activities and still get home before it gets too dark. You can see that there's a huge range for all groups at Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4. We feel it's really important for your children to get involved in these clubs, and we see these clubs as an extension to the normal school day. Now, PE has so many extracurricular activities that they also needed their own slide. You can see all the different sporting activities that happen in the school week. One of the things that's really good about this is that you'll see that trampolining and badminton are for all years, as is table tennis and our fitness suite and netball club. So what it means is that students are given the opportunity to mix with some older students who can support them and mentor them. And whereas the Year 7s are supported with their own lunchtime and their own play areas, when we're talking about extracurricular activities, where of course we have supervising staff, it's great that there are older children who can model the behaviours and the participation that we're looking for from your children. Just to let you know that in Borough Competitions, our Year 9 basketball team are Borough champions, which is fantastic. Our football team are Borough champions, and trampolining, we have individual and team Borough champions. So if any of your children want to get involved in any of these fantastic sporting activities, it looks like Southgate is the school to beat. So I mentioned earlier ePraise, which is our behaviour system, our supportive and reward behaviour system at school. What we want to do is reward the children who do the right thing and make them feel valued and positive for doing the right thing, rather than giving negative attention to those who don't. There is a huge focus on rewards and prizes. And this week we have a number of trips going out to jump in Enfield, where students in the 2 most successful houses are going on a kind of trampolining trip, and all of the students in those houses will be rewarded in that way. So there's some healthy competition. There's also a real sense of community, and children are placed in houses throughout the school. So again, you have older children and younger children working together and all bidding to be the most successful house. We give rewards for 100% attendance. There are formal presentations where students are given their awards. We have charity events. We also reward any activities that support the school. We reward high levels of reading and achievement. So, for example, if you are a word millionaire, you have ePraise points given to you. All children are rewarded every time they quiz on a book that they've read. We really are focusing on reward, apologies, that we are focusing on reward rather than sanction. this is somewhere where you can get involved as parents, because you can download the My Ed app and you can follow your child's achievements and progress. We give ePraise awards for work, for effort, and for participation. It's not just the brightest children who achieve rewards and ePraise. Children are rewarded for making an effort and for improving and for just taking part. Okay, so that's it. Oh no, I'm just going to talk to you about home learning. Now, one of the things that I like to sell at this point is that my department run a homework club 4 nights a week. And this helps students to complete their homework. Perhaps some year 7 students who aren't used to getting the volume of homework that they will get when they join secondary school. The homework club is open to everybody, no appointments necessary. We use an online program called Satchel One. Each child is issued with their own individual log, and they also have passwords. So it means that we as teachers upload the homework, and you as parents can access the homework that's been given to your son or daughter. And also that's how your son or daughter knows what homework needs to be done, and they can mark it as complete once it's been done. So students and parents can track any homework that is still outstanding and when it's due to be given in. We started using this program rather than planners because it allows for greater flexibility, and teachers can put in details about the work that needs to be completed and more explanation for our students so they know exactly what to do rather than rushing to write something down at the end of the lesson. We found that this enormously improves completion rates, but also it reduces the stress on your children, you know, worried about not knowing what to do, or if they didn't quite catch what was said or what they needed to write down. Everything is on the system and it remains available so that you and your children can access it and clearly know what needs to be done. For year 7, home learning isn't set for the first few weeks, and then it will only be for English, maths and science, the core subjects, until October half term. And as I've said, we have Homework Club, which is available for all children. No invitation necessary, and you don't have to book in. And that will really help your children complete their homework when they start to get it in the early weeks of year 7. Okay, I'm delighted now to pass on to Miss Douglas, who is going to talk to you about the timings of the school day. Thank you very much.
So good evening, everybody. I'm going to talk you through the structure of our school day, first of all, just so that we're all aware of start times and finish times. And it's just really to alleviate any of those questions or fears that your children may have before the September start. Can I just remind you that at the end of this, we will be responding to questions. Any questions that you have, anything that you need clarifying, if you could just type them in the chat, and then we'll have a look at the chat at the end of the presentation. So Breakfast Club, I should start with, is open at 8:15 in the school canteen. A number of our children access Breakfast Club at the start of the day. It's quite a nice opportunity to meet friends, be in the canteen where it's nice and warm and get something to eat and drink. Obviously, children arrive before 8:15 and they're welcome to enter the school if that works with parents' drop-off times, but 8:15 is when Breakfast Club opens. We say we would like absolute latest for all students to be on site by 8:30 because our lessons start at 8:40. Lots of schools go into kind of a tutor time or a form tutor time. We don't. 8:40 is lesson 1. Punctuality is really important, I think, especially for year 7. Generally, year 7 students are very, very concerned if they arrive late and they're a bit flustered. They think they're going to get into trouble. So we really would urge for that 8:30 arrival at school, absolutely. You can see there that year 7, they have lessons 1 and 2. All of our lessons are an hour in length, and then they go to break. It's just a 20-minute break in the morning where they can go to the canteen to get some food again, or they can go to the hall and have a snack. And their playground is the East Wing playground where they can go and have a run around. They then spend 20 minutes with their tutor. They will have the same tutor for the year and perhaps throughout their school career. And then you can see lesson 3 and then the first lesson 4. Then lunch. Year 7 have lunch break on their own, and that's quite deliberate. It allows them to have a little bit more time in the canteen. They don't have to queue up with older students. And then they can play in the East Wing playground again completely on their own. We ensure, of course, that students are sat when they have their packed lunch or their meal from school, so there's no wandering around eating. It's very civilised. We get them to sit and eat and to socialise and then go and play for a little bit of time. They then return to lesson 4, part 2, and then the last lesson of the day is 1:50 till 2:50. However, due to COVID, we have been staggering the end of our school day, and I believe that that will continue for the foreseeable future. So actually year 7 at the moment finish at 2:40, and then the older years finish at 2:50 and then 3 o'clock. Miss Cabrella's already said that we really don't want students to leave at 2:40. We'd like them to stay on for an enrichment club, a homework club, to be part of something after the end of the school day. And to make new friendships and stay on at school to learn new things. At this point, I will mention attendance. I lead on whole school attendance. Obviously, if a child isn't in school, then they're not learning. So we really do encourage, when at all possible, I know that the previous 2 years have been quite problematic in terms of school attendance and school closure. However, we see student absence as lost days of learning. So we really do encourage parents to work with us, to communicate with us, to send children into school so that they don't lose days of learning. Secondary schools are quite different to primaries, and we don't authorise holidays in term time. That's standard practice. And we would ask that medical or dental appointments, where at all possible, are made outside of the school day. Moving on to think about our timetable, I know that this is one concern with the little ones with year 7 when they join us, that they think that they're not going to be in the right place at the right time. Because we're a big school, we do actually operate a 2-week timetable. So we have week 1 and we have week 2. Students won't need to worry. We will, they'll have a session with their tutor where we'll make it clear how to read the timetable, where they should be at different times in the day. And of course, we are always very supportive of making sure that students find their way around the school. Again, on that first day, they have a tour of the school with their tutor. To tell you, one question that we have every year, and parents are seemingly most concerned about, is how we allocate children from 70 different feeder primary schools to different tutor groups. And it's actually quite involved. We have 9 tutor groups in year 7. There are 250 children in the year. And our job is to make sure that those tutor groups are mixed ability, mixed gender, and we also talk to primary colleagues. So when I go through the timeline later, I'll talk through how Ms. Gabrella and I are in contact with year 6 teachers, with primary Senkos, to try and think about who might work with who and who to pair with who. And so it's based on lots of different decisions how to pair and how to allocate children to particular tutor groups. Obviously, with our bigger feeder primaries, where we're getting 20, 25, 30 children, those children will know other people, other students from their primary school in their tutor group. We do have a number of children who are the only ones to arrive from their primary school. And what we would say to those children is, don't worry, there are lots of people in the same position as you are, and we will look again to pair you with someone in a similar position so that you have some support in that tutor group. In terms of subjects, you can see that lots of subjects are taught within that tutor group. So art, drama, geography, history, IT, music, RE and science. The children will be in their tutor group for those subjects. Other subjects are a little bit different due to class size. So DT, English, FT and Spanish will be a little bit smaller. And again, slightly different groupings. Those classes are a little bit smaller. And the only subject that sets in year 7 viability is maths. And that's based on in-class assessments and tests, and they set at October half term. We also have an option for a very small number of children not to take a modern foreign language, so it will be Spanish in September. And those students, again, a very small number, maybe 8, 9 or 10 across the year group, will instead do 2 hours of extra English and 2 hours of extra maths. Some of you will be parents already of Southgate students, so you will know that after consultation with parents, staff and governors, we actually banned all smartphones, headphones and internet-enabled devices back in 2019. And the reason for that is we want to be known as a phone-free school. We are known as a phone-free school in the local community. We don't want our children on their way to and from school targeted by individuals not of our community, not of our school, for their expensive smartphones. So we are phone-free, smartphone-free, I should say. We also noticed since 2019 that children are happier at school. They don't have access to the internet. They're not looking at online platforms. They're not responding to the pressures of social media during their school day. We want school to be a safe place. School is a safe place. We also recognise that parents might want to contact their children. So students are allowed a really basic smartphone, and you can see a picture there of a Nokia. The children refer to them as their brick phone. Lots of them have a smartphone at home, but they're not allowed the smartphone in school. We would ask that any brick phone, any Nokia example that you might buy, doesn't have internet access, doesn't have a camera. So it's the most basic phone that you can possibly buy. Children are allowed to use them, obviously, on their journey to and from school. They can use them outside the school gate, but the expectation is that as soon as they walk through the school gate, that Nokia phone or brick phone is switched off and in their bag, and it cannot be used and cannot be seen on the school site. If there's an emergency and your child desperately wants to contact you, they all know they can ask to go to reception and they can use the reception phone and they can contact you. And similarly, if you need to get a message to your child, just like at primary school, you would phone our reception and leave a message. If a smartphone or a Nokia is seen or used on the school site, then we do confiscate for 2 weeks, and that phone is then returned to the parent by a member of our team. Uniform. I mention uniform at this stage just because we know that lots of parents are really keen, especially when it's the first child to move up to secondary, to get everything ready and ordered and bought in time for the September start. So you can see there that we have just one uniform supplier who are located, they have a shop really close to the school, around the corner in Cockfosters. And I just thought I'd flag here what we really don't want you to buy, because children won't be allowed to wear them at Southgate. So I've just listed there trainers. We don't allow any kind of trainer to be worn as part of the school uniform. Canvas shoes, boots or boot style shoes. In fact, any sports branded footwear is not allowed. So I suppose for the dinosaurs in us, any plain black, dark school shoe is acceptable. We don't allow extreme hairstyles, so sculpting or shaved patterns. And again, it just sets, if a year 7 doesn't know and they turn up on the first day and they've got a shaved pattern in their hair, it just adds to their distress on that first day, which we want them to be excited and really positive about starting school. And we just don't want them to have the wrong kind of conversation on the first day. We don't allow nail varnish, nail extensions, eyelashes. I mean, I wouldn't expect that with year 7 anyway, but we just flag it there. Facial piercings aren't allowed, and hoodies are confiscated on site. So I'm sorry it sounds rather negative, but I just wanted to flag the absolute no's for uniform, so that you don't waste money buying the wrong thing. We really do see uniform and working together. Uniform is showing that students are smart and they're ready for school, and so we see that as home and school again working together to ensure that children are properly attired. I would flag that with our one school uniform supplier, you don't have to buy all of the uniform from them. They will sell the blazer with the badge already sewn on. If you prefer to buy a blazer from a different outlet, a supermarket, whatever, you can buy the badge on its own from the uniform supplier and then sew it on at home. The trousers on this, or the skirt, whichever you choose, has to come from the uniform supplier because they have an emblem on them to show that they're official trousers. Those two items, and also the tie, and the year group colour for year 7 in September will be green. So those, the badge, trousers or skirt and the tie, you have to buy from the uniform supplier, but anything else, so blouses, shirts, a blazer, if you don't want to buy that from the supplier, you can buy from elsewhere, and it just depended on what your preference is. The jumper is optional, so lots of students, if they're a bit cold, choose to wear the jumper. They don't have to, but the compulsory item is the blazer. And also our PE kit has to come from the uniform supplier, but again, there's a choice of either a polo or a hoodie, sorry, not a hoodie, a sweatshirt, shorts or leggings. We're a big school, we've got 1,500 children here, so please put names on everything. It's really, you just won't get something back if it doesn't have a name on it. And of course, we have the usual expectations that skirts aren't too short and that shirts are tucked in and a tie is of a decent length. But I have to say, Ms. Cabral and I have done this job for a very, very long time. That first day when your son or daughter will join us, I'm sure they will look absolutely immaculate. And then this is my final slide. And I'm just going to talk you through the transition events that take us from now up until September, just so that you're aware of what we're doing and why we're doing things. So we are offering tours of the school. We haven't started those yet. We're conscious that we're still in March and National Offer Day was on the 1st of March. But we will be offering tours when senior staff are free. And it will be between 9 and 9:30. So if you'd like a tour of the school, if you weren't able to attend at open evening, if you don't know our school site very well, then just contact our school office and they will add you to our list. And then we'll be back in contact with the date and time. But they will just be 9 to 9:30. There's no option to offer them during the day or at the end of the day. Ms. Cabral and I will keep in contact with you. It's not the end of our contact after this event today. We'll contact you throughout April, May, June and July because we want you to feel part of our community when you start with us on the 5th of September. Now you should have received, you can see the first box at the top, our head teacher, Mr. Lavelle, would have written to your child so that the letter arrived just after National Offer Day, welcoming them to the school. So we hope you received that. Some of you will have already had a welcome call made by one of our senior team to welcome you to the school, again, to foster that partnership from early days. Those calls will be made throughout March, and we're hoping that they will all be made, all 250 calls, by the time we break up for Easter. The welcome pack, which I've said there will be sent out this week, it will be this week, maybe Monday at the very, very latest, is a welcome pack which contains lots of different documents for you to read. There is an admissions, so there are some documents that we would like you to return to us completed, and we enclose in that welcome pack a letter, an envelope with a label, pre-done label, so it's really easy for you to return documents to us. There's an admissions form for you to complete. It's all about your family details. And there are a number of consent forms which we really need you to complete so that when your child starts in September, we can have an easy transition to our school. So the consent forms, it's what you would expect, I suppose. It's a consent form for trips, a consent form for photos or images. So we might use a student's image in our prospectus or in our newsletter or on our website, very much like a primary school. We also need your consent for a biometric, to take biometric information. So our meals are cashless. So our canteen is based on a cashless catering system. So no cash at school. You can top up your child's account on Parent Pay, again, like many primary schools. And then when a child goes to pay for their food, they just put their finger on a sensor, and then it will deduct the amount from their account. Now, the image of the fingerprint isn't stored on our system. It's a measurement of the finger and the print that then generates the ability to use the fingerprint recognition. But we need your consent for that. If you don't, then a child can have a 4-number PIN instead. There's also a free school meal form, letters from the music and PE department, a uniform flyer to give you a bit more information about that, some information about our computer and internet policy, and then a privacy notice which talks you through how we collect data, what data we collect, and what we might do with data. So again, there's quite a lot of information coming out. Please take time to read through, and please, quite quickly, please send the information that we've asked for back to us. You can see on the 15th of March, we are now in our welcome event, which we've run virtually this year. We found it quite successful and quite accessible for parents due to COVID, but we thought, it was a good thing to offer that virtually this year. Between April and June, you can see that our transition teams, that's myself, Ms. Gabriel, and our team, will contact your child's Year 6 teacher. And again, due to COVID, lots of those meetings and contact over the past 2 years have been virtual, but we're going to try and get into as many schools as we can this year, as long as primaries are happy with that. We fill in quite a lot of paperwork with the Year 6 teacher. We look at family makeup. We look at where students are in terms of English, maths and science. We look at any additional support that might be required and how that teacher thinks that your child will transition to secondary school. So they're quite lengthy meetings with us and the Year 6 teams. Our induction day is the 24th of June. We just run one induction day. And on that day, we run our CATS tests, our cognitive ability test, and Miss Gabriel runs those tests with her team. They're to give us some more information about your child before they start in September. We have to stress that you can't revise for a CATS test. It's a cognitive ability test. You can't revise, you can't prepare, it's nothing to be worried about. And then following the tests in the morning, we have lunch. If it's sunny, we go on the field and have a packed lunch, which we provide. And then we have 3 fun taster lessons to finish the day. On the 18th of July, we have our tutor interviews. And again, we've run this event for a number of years. It's really informative for parents and children. It gets you into school. It gets you to meet myself and Miss Gabriel and our team face to face. But it also allows you and your child to meet their new form tutor. Now, the form tutor is a really special person at secondary. Because it's a person that your child will have as their form tutor for the year, and they get to know their tutees really well, and they get to meet them, be with them every day. Remember, you have that 20-minute tutor session. So at that interview, you'll meet your actual tutor. So it's really important that you try and attend. The interviews are just 10 minutes. If you can't make the time that we allocate, you just contact us and we reallocate. And at that meeting, we'll talk through any concerns, any anxieties, anything you want us to know about if you're a star footballer or badminton player or cellist. And at that point, we'll ask you to sign the school contract, which we'll send out in advance that you can read in preparation for that interview. Another important event for us to kind of end this academic year is our summer school. And we offer that in the first week of the holiday. So myself and Miss Gabriel run that event with the head of year and other willing members of staff. And we actually invite all 250 children into summer school for just one day. So you would either be invited on the 25th or the 26th or the 27th of July. And the date that you're invited depends on your tutor group, because by then, of course, we'll have created our tutor groups. Children attend on a particular day because they attend with their tutor group. So they get to make friends already and see who's in their tutor group and experience some time together. Just move that. We found summer school really well attended last year. And I think what it does for children, it takes that anxiety of that first day, walking through the gate in their uniform, not really knowing anyone. It takes all of that anxiety away and actually really does make children feel quite comfortable about coming to us on that first day in September, which of course is what we want. We want a smooth transition from primary to secondary. Then you can see our first day is the 5th of September, 8:40 start. And again, just to finish off our transition events, we just have year 7 and year 12 in for the whole morning. So the rest of the school is nice and quiet, nice and empty. And again, children will spend the whole morning with their tutor, who they've met on the 18th of July. And they follow a carousel of activities. So on that day, we would take their photo and set up their cashless payment. But we would also take them on a tour of the school again and think about target setting. And they will complete a booklet over the summer, which is This Is Me, and which introduces themselves to their new tutor. So they'll use that on that day. So it really is, again, a day of team building, feeling secure and knowing where to go and who to speak to if they need to. So that's the end of our slides, our formal presentation. Just to say that these slides are really taken from our welcome booklet, which we will email out as one of those keep it in contact emails. We generally send it out in April after this event, so that we've had some opportunity to talk through some of the pages with you. So please look out for that. Our main, of course, source of contact with you as parents is via email. So if you could just check your emails, we'll send things out. If not, if you misplace anything or need to contact us, then contact the school office. Also, all of our transition materials are placed on our website under the transition tab. So please keep a look at the website, but also please keep on top of emails. Thank you. So we'll now at this opportunity just see if anybody's posted any questions in the chat. Oh yes, I can see a few. So please bear with me. We'll just have a look at the questions. So there's one question about beginning and ending times to the school day. I think we've covered that. So we'd like children to be in by 8:30 in the morning. School officially ends at 20 to 3, but of course we'd like children to remain for enrichment activities. Yes, we have actually recorded this event. So somebody's asking, will they get the slides? Yes, we've saved the PowerPoint, we've recorded it, and we'll make that available on our website. There's a question here about Breakfast Club. Can you eat breakfast? Yes, we sell croissants, danishes, toast, no cereal, I'm afraid. But yes, they can. Students can purchase water as well, drinks for the day. Somebody's asking again about the 2:50 pickup time. That's the official end to the day, but with COVID restrictions, we have been staggering the end of the school day. So year 7 at the moment are finishing at 2:40. The question about the earliest time children can get to school. Really, the earliest time they get to school is about 8 o'clock. Children are allowed into Breakfast Club at 8:15. We do have children who arrive earlier, but of course then they are remaining in corridors until Breakfast Club opens. And unsupervised. Yeah. And as Miss Cabral's just said, yes, they are unsupervised. They're supervised in Breakfast Club, but not before that. A question here about primary breakfast club. Obviously, with our canteen where children can go and get a breakfast, then you would pay for that. But there's no charge, obviously, for them going into the canteen to buy something. It's just an option for them. I think some of the parents are answering the questions. Yes. As Ms. Cabral said, some parents are very helpfully answering questions on the chat for us, so thank you for that. Okay, this is good. Right, we've got a question from a student here, from Nathan. So what do you do if you get lost or confused?
So if you get lost or confused, we have our Be Well zones. Oh, I'm not sure if everybody can see me. We have our Be Well zones. We also have an office where all our heads of year have a desk. So there are various places around the school that if you get lost in any way or confused, you can pop your head into those offices and someone will help you. I have to say, because of the kind of school that Southgate is, if you're a little year 7 student and you're looking lost or confused, then one of the older children, particularly our 6th formers, is more than likely to say, are you okay? Can I help you? You know, are you in the right wing? Because we have an east wing, a west wing, a north wing and a south wing. Of course, we always have someone on reception. The SEND, the Special Educational Needs Department, is based around the East Wing entrance. So there's always somebody there who can help. And I like to think that anybody looking lost or confused would be picked up almost immediately. But one of the first things we do with your children is explain to them exactly where they can go and where there are non-teaching staff who will be able to help them immediately should they be not sure where they need to go.
There's a question here about, can you bring a packed lunch? Of course you can. And again, lots of children and parents prefer to do that. We would just ask for no nuts, just like any primary. And we would also ask, please, for something healthy. We don't police the packed lunches, though. You know, if you want to send your child in with crisps and chocolate, then we would advise against it, but we won't confiscate. But we would ask, you know, for a balanced selection.
The other thing to say, which is something that sometimes comes up, is that you can mix and match. So if you decide that you want your child to have school lunches and they have improved enormously, and there's always a vegetarian option and all our meat is halal. But if you want to allow your child to have school lunches for 2 days a week or 3 days a week and packed lunches the other days, you're absolutely welcome to do that. You can mix and match and you don't need to tell anybody what you're doing. It's entirely whatever you and your child prefer on the day.
We would ask that the parents top up the parent pay account, again, just like lots of primary schools ask you to. But please be assured, if something goes wrong, if you know your child has no credit, we never ever allow a child to go hungry. We would just put you into debit and just ask you to clear that account when you can. But certainly, if there isn't credit on the account, then a child can still get something in the canteen. Lots of nice comments from some children saying that they have a sibling here and that they love the school. It's an amazing school. That's really lovely. We'll let Mr. Lavelle know about those comments.
Can you wear Vans? I think yes, you can. If we're really strict about no boots, so you can't have anything that goes over the ankle, but if they are black and they are standard, yes, you can wear Vans.
There's a question here about after-school clubs and enrichment clubs. Well, Ms. Gabriel, if you go back when we send it out and have a look at the enrichment slide, also if you look at our website, all the enrichment clubs are listed there. So after-school clubs are enrichment clubs,
yeah,
as well as homework club.
I think perhaps the question there is, do we have an after-school club in terms of a sort of childcare arrangement? And we don't. There are after-school clubs and your children are welcome to go to one every evening after school, but this isn't, we don't run a club that's essentially childcare, and your children are expected to be collected or make their way at the end of the club. And of course, even though it doesn't happen very often, occasionally clubs will be cancelled due to ill health. So it's not kind of wraparound childcare at the end of the day.
There's a question here about EHCPs.
Additional transition. Sorry, I have to put my gloves on. Right. What we will do is myself or one of my team will contact all the parents of children who have an EHCP. We'll probably meet you at the annual review because my admin assistant has already contacted the primary schools where we are having a child come to us who has an EHCP, and we've put in the annual reviews and we've made sure that we can attend them. So any primary school that has got back in touch with us, we've already put that date in.
For some children with significant needs, they may need an additional visit to school. So we're very happy to facilitate that. They may want to come to school with their teaching assistant, have a bit of a wander, a supervised wander around the school so that it feels a little bit more familiar to them when they come for any of our transition events. What I would say that if you are the parent of a child who has an EHCP, please email me at the first opportunity. My email is on the school website. I'm lgabrielle@southgate.enfield.sch.uk, but I'm on the website, and we can do a bespoke package and we can answer any questions that you have. I hope that answers that. As I say, if you have any more questions, please do email.
There's a question here about menus. Yes, our menus are published on the website. If you haven't had a look at our school website yet, please do so. Anything and everything that will be useful is on there. Just navigate the tabs at the top. Somebody here saying, do you have to pay for food? Yes, you do. There is, in the welcome pack that's sent out, there is a form about free school meals. If you've claimed at primary school or think that you are eligible, please fill that in.
Please could we really encourage you to fill in the form for free school meals if you feel you're eligible. In all honesty, that actually bumps up some of the funding that we get in school. So as well as helping support your child, because obviously it's important that, you know, they get fueled during the school day, it also is a benefit to the school. So please don't feel uncomfortable about filling it in. If you need any help with filling anything in, again, please get in touch with myself or Miss Douglas, and we're very happy to support you with that.
There's a question here about the cost of uniform. We've met with our uniform supplier quite recently, and we really have tried to think about costs for parents. So again, the compulsory items from the shop are the badge, which is, you know, a matter of pounds. Blazers can be bought from anywhere. They are quite expensive in the uniform shop, but again, if you want to source those from elsewhere, trousers and skirts are from the uniform supplier, and again, you can just buy the basics for the PE kit.
So if you buy the blazer from somewhere else, I think Asda do quite a good range. You can then stick on or sew on the specific school badge, and that will make the blazer look like anybody else's blazer, whether you've got it from the uniform shop or not. Many of our children do that, and as long as you've got the badge, you really can't tell the difference between, you know, a uniform shop bought blazer and a blazer bought at, you know, one of the good supermarkets.
Yeah, somebody asking here about when documentation needs to be returned to the school. We've already thought about extending the deadline on that because our packs have been somewhat delayed by the need for documentation relating to GDPR. So yes, we will be looking at when the packs are sent out and when we'd ask the documentation to be sent back. I think it's a bit like homework though. Once you get your pack, I'm sure that you just want to get that work filled in and sent back to us to get it off the to-do list and just make sure then that we can start entering your details onto our database. Can students wear kickers for footwear?
Again, you can wear kickers as long as they don't go over the ankle. So we're particularly fussy about boots, but there are some kicker shoes. Again, obviously they need to be black, but kicker shoes are okay. But if your child comes into school with kicker boots, we will send them home. And I'm really sorry, however much you've spent on them, your child won't be able to wear them in school. So kicker shoes, yes, and that means the leather bit goes under the ankle. Kicker boots, absolutely not.
Already some parents saying that unfortunately they've already booked holidays and they're away and children will miss the summer school. Not to worry. You know, we don't want anybody upset because they have to miss, but it is just an opportunity, as we said, for your child to meet with the rest of their tutor group and just become a bit more familiar with the school. So a couple of questions about how many classrooms we have.
Oh, great. Just, I Possibly guess that. Lots. I mean, I think the thing that is most useful for you to know is that all the classrooms are of a good size and enable a class of 25, 26, 27 or 28 students to fit in comfortably. There's room for some desks have 2 children at them. Other desks are a little longer and have 4 children on one desk. I couldn't tell you how many classrooms there are, but there are enough.
And there are lots because we're a big school.
We're a big school.
There's one question here about, do we only offer vegetarian food? No. We offer a vegetarian option, but we offer meat and fish.
Yes, and as we said, the meat is all halal.
Anxious question here about what happens if you get lost and you're late to a lesson. I think Ms. Cabral covered that one. You won't be told off and you won't be in trouble, but you will be helped.
But if you're still claiming by year 11 that you're lost and not sure where to go, then that might be a different story. But we're always very supportive and caring of our year 7s. And for any parents who are anxious, you'd be surprised how quickly the children really grasp the 4 wings of the school, because certain subjects are taught in the East Wing and certain subjects are taught in the West Wing. So usually we feel it takes a maximum of 2 weeks for children, even some of our vulnerable children, to understand the school site. And I think you'll be surprised with how very quickly your children assimilate to a really big school.
We've got a couple of questions here about trainers. Even if they're plain black, no, I'm sorry,
No.
they're still not allowed. It is shoes that are allowed.
Absolutely nothing with any sports logo or any kind of trainers. They're not allowed.
Not even plain black?
No.
Somebody's saying they haven't received the welcome pack. Remember, we haven't sent them out yet, so you haven't missed anything. Question here, will their child have to miss primary school to attend the tutor interviews? Yes, we work with our feeder primaries. They are, we only run one induction day, remember, on the 24th of June. So primaries are happy for children to come to us and meet their tutor. I say it's 10 minutes, so it's usually not much time out of their primary day.
Can we pay with cash or card at the canteen? No, we are a money-free school because that makes your children safer as they're travelling to school and back home from school. Everything we do is with the fingerprint, or if you're really not happy with that, we can give your child a 4-digit code, but it will be their responsibility to remember it, and they can key in the code rather than placing their finger on the machine. No card, no cash. In terms of you paying for it, you can pay on the school system with a card, or you can bring cash into the school office and they will put it on the system. But in the canteen, there is no money, no card. The way you decide to put money onto your child's finger, onto your child's account, is entirely up to you. You can give money to your child for them to put it into one of our machines, which then uploads it to their account. But to be honest, the best way to do it is online, so that you know that your money is going onto your child's finger account. It's called Parent Pay, and that's how we pay for trips, and that's how we pay for anything. So there's no money in school with your children.
There's still some confusion, I think, over the blazers and the badges. So if you buy a blazer with a ready sewn on badge from our uniform supplier, it's probably going to cost you about £32. If you prefer just to buy the badge on its own from the supplier, a blazer from a cheaper outlet, and then sew it or iron it on at home, that's absolutely acceptable as well. It's just whatever suits different families for different price ranges.
Have we got a library? Oh, yes, we most definitely have a library. The school is very involved with something called the Accelerated Reading Programme, because we know how important reading is to good literacy and an extended vocabulary. So your children will have one lesson a fortnight, which they spend in our library, reading and then quizzing on the books that they've read. so that they will have a reading age. And we do a quiz on a kind of standard quiz once every term. So yes, we have a library. Children can access it at break time and after school. We encourage your children to read as much as possible. And as I say, there is one lesson a fortnight, which is purely for your children to read and to quiz on what they've read. Miss Douglas and I are both English teachers, and we will always sing the praises of good reading habits.
Are children allowed to take their blazers off? Yes, they are when it's hot. They can take them off in lessons. We actually have a summer uniform, which we, so children move from blouses or shirts with ties to a summer polo shirt. And at that point, we'll tell them when they can leave their blazers at home. But remember, the blazer is the compulsory item, the jumper is not.
What's really rather lovely is that children in year 7 will put their hand up and say, please may I take my blazer off? And it's so polite. Usually children get in the habit of asking if they can, but no teacher in the school is ever going to say no.
A question here about sports teams. Yes, if you have a look at the enrichment program that Ms. Cabral went over, with lots of different sports teams in lots of different areas of sports for year 7 to participate in. I think,
Yes, children from year 7 are most definitely allowed to walk to school and walk back home on their own. Absolutely no problem with that at all. Obviously, we trust you to know that your child is safe. We do have a senior teacher, 2 senior teachers walking to Oakwood Tube Station after school every day to support children getting on a bus outside Southgate Tube Station, Oakwood Tube Station. And so if they're walking that way, then there will be some kind of teacher presence. But yes, absolutely. If you trust your children and know that they're safe, then we trust your judgment completely.
Languages at school, we do 1 year on of Spanish and then 1 year of French, and I believe in September year 7 will study Spanish.
They will. If you have a son who has particular insoles, I think the best thing to do is to contact myself. I appreciate that they fit best in trainers. Really, we would prefer if you could fit them into ordinary school shoes, but let's have that discussion. And if there is a significant medical problem, then obviously exceptions can be made, but we would need to be comfortable that it really was a necessity.
A question about drama club. Yes,
Yeah.
Lots of schools have kind of moved down the English, math, science focus. At Southgate, obviously, we focus on our core subjects, but we also value all of the subjects across the curriculum, really strong, as you've just heard, in PE, but also drama, music and art. And again, if you come on a tour, have been on a tour, if you look at our fantastic art department,
Nice.
our drama studio facilities, they really are exceptional. So yes, definitely. We have lots of different music clubs, activities, lots of different drama activities.
We also, you know, COVID notwithstanding, have a school show every 1 year it's a musical and 1 year it's a play, and it's lovely for the younger children to get involved in that, and helps them to really feel part of the school. So the school show is usually in February, I believe.
Yep.
And hopefully next February we will all be able to enjoy that.
There's a question about learning other languages. Lots of our students study their own language or community language outside of school, but within the school curriculum it will be Spanish only. If your child is learning a community language outside the school, they have the opportunity of taking a GCSE in that language, and we really encourage this.
partly so that students can, you know, enjoy and really celebrate their other language and their community, but also because it will add to their APS, their average point score, when it comes to GCSEs. So it means that they will have an additional GCSE compared with their peers, as well, of course, as keeping that language alive for them and for you as their family. So we do support children doing, you know, that language, a community language, outside school, and then taking an exam if they reach that level. That's great.
Another question about French. As I said, it's 1 year French, 1 year Spanish. So for this intake in September, it will just be Spanish.
Yeah. So if you have a child in this year's year 7, they are learning French. All the children in next year's year 7 will be learning Spanish, and the year after that, they'll be learning French. So this was a decision made by the school a number of years ago. So all the year 7 children in September will be learning Spanish, and that's the only language that we can offer them.
Okay, I think that's the end of the questions.
Okay.
So we'd just like to thank everybody for attending today. We've hoped we've made you feel welcome, but also children slightly less anxious about joining us in September. We definitely want you to feel excited. We're really looking forward to seeing you over the coming months. Of course, the first time we will see you won't be on the 5th of September. We will try and get into as many primary schools as possible, and when we go into those primary visits, we like to meet and greet the children who are coming to us. And of course, we'll see you on the 24th of June for your induction day.
We very much look forward to it. You've now been able to put a couple of faces to the names. We're both on the website, and our email addresses are on the website. So if there's anything at all that is concerning you or any questions that we've not been able to answer for you, then please do get in touch.
Thank you.